it's trusting and knowing that that's in there. And I ran another interview yesterday, and we were talking about the concept of hope. And as you gave that the analogy around, being where in the moment, it may feel uncomfortable and it may feel difficult. And, like I said earlier, there are many people going through this uncomfortableness and pain. But if we have a knowing that this resilience that we talk about is innate, it's always there. And it's something that we're completely, it's part of us, right? It makes up who we are. Then for me, and again, I'd love to know your thoughts on it, Michael, it kind of gives a hope. It kind of fills my heart with hope, but also allows me to trust that I am okay and I will be okay.
So there's an old analogy for resilience that I always liked. I think it's a guy named Matthew McFarland, but I may have just made up the name. And he talked about how people tend to see themselves as Christmas ornaments, oranges, or rubber balls. And if you think of yourself as a Christmas ornament, then essentially you may look great on the outside, but you're pretty fragile and it wouldn't take much of a drop to break you. If you think of yourself as an orange, well, you're pretty tough. You got a thick skin. You can take a lot. And it won't show on the outside how damaged you are on the inside. But if you keep throwing oranges against walls, the insides start to rot and go off, and eventually you'll see it from the outside. But a rubber ball is made to bounce. Now, you can talk about it as an attitude, but to me, it's just what's true. We are made to bounce. So given that, I am pretty hopeful every time I bump into something that I'm going to bounce off it because I'm made of rubber. I mean, it's a metaphor, but I think that there is something incredibly hopeful about the truth. Like, no, nobody's in control of the universe. Nobody can make this all wave a hand and make it all magic away. Nobody can bring back a loved one if we've lost a loved one. And yet, with love in our heart for those that we lose, for compassion for those that are suffering, we're made of light. We're made of literal stardust. I mean, it's all of these things that have become cliches are actually just true. And if you notice it, it's hopeful. Because wow, not only am I going to be okay, but I don't have to be the one to make myself okay. It's built in. The rubber ball doesn't have to set its legs so that it can jump when it hits bottom. It's made to do that. We are made for this. We literally are made for this. Our spiritual architecture is extraordinary. And when we see that, yeah, we're hopeful. And when we forget it, well, all bets are off. But only until we remember again.